Sound of a singer-songwriter Lynn Campbell from Lifford, and I'm delighted that Lynn is joining me in the studio now. Lynn, how's it going? Are you well?
I'm not too bad. Tell me.
I better put up your mic. It sounds better. You're keeping well anyway.
I am.
We're just after playing that song. You had it out a while. Was it? Did Martin McColgan sing on that with you, or was it?
No, Martin McColgan sang on the duet Tell Me Why.
Tell me why. Why am I always getting it mixed up with that? So for our listeners out there now, and I know a lot of them around the Northwest would know you, Lynn, but for anyone who doesn't know you, tell us a little bit about yourself.
I'm from Lifford, married to Mark Campbell, one of the postmen, and I have two boys, Joseph and Sean. I work full-time for IFAC Accountants in Rafo, and I've been there just over 21 years. And I took up songwriting as a hobby. And I'm just really enjoying the way things are going with it at the minute. It's a fantastic hobby to have, and you get to meet lots of nice people and creating, music, making up your own songs. It's really good fun.
And how long have you been songwriting?
I started in 2013 on the spur of the moment. I was watching a silly programme on TV where this man had admitted to having an affair live on TV. And I thought, God, he must be crazy. So I was thinking about it. I was driving up to Balbuffet. I had to run an errand. And I was singing in the car, as you do. And I was thinking about, what would have happened, backstage. And did she leave him, or what was happening? And I thought, that would make a good song. And I thought, I'm going to try writing a song. So by the time I got back from Balbuffet, about an hour later, I had the first verse and chorus written to Please Try. And melody as well. And I thought, this is good fun. So over the next few weeks, I finished the song, and I thought, this is going to be good crack. So I thought, what'll I do now? I've done that. And I thought, I'll make up a song about maybe what happened before it, and I wrote a song about that. And then I thought, all right, but what happened after it? And I did that, and I went back and forward until I realised I had a full album written.
It's amazing. And you were telling me, been speaking to you before, you were telling me about then you kind of got into this songwriting circle where it's not just songwriters from Ireland, but you've met up with a gentleman I had here on the show, Dan Washburn. Seamus Fitzsimmons over in England asked me to say hello to you. How did you come in contact with all those guys?
It was through a radio station that all our songs were played on.
Yeah. And
they had a wee chat room, and where the singers and the public would go in, and we would all talk together, and have a bit of a laugh. And the station was playing Dan's song one night, I'll Have to Drink About That. And I thought this song was amazing, so I thought I'd be very, very bold, and I headed into Facebook, and I thought, check out to see this man has a Facebook page. And I went in, Dan was there, I sent him a wee message in Messenger, and I says, look, radio station over in Ireland is playing your song. If you're not busy some night, why don't you come over and join us and have a bit of crack in the wee chat room? And so he did the next week, and it started from there. He talked to him every few days since, and that's like nearly 2 years ago now. And met a lot of really, really nice people, a lot of singers and songwriters, and they've all been very helpful and very supportive. And they're like Dan is an incredible singer-songwriter and a music producer, and he has his own, studio in Nashville and things like that. Seamus Fitzsimmons, as you said, has become a really good friend of mine. Brilliant for advice, an incredible singer-songwriter, and there's one song in particular, Rainy Heart, and it's like my favourite song ever. So I want to say hello to him tonight too, because he's listening in as well, and hello to his mum who's up staying with him. And just they've all been really, really good to me, like all the male and female singers, and they've really taken me under their wings, and just treated me like one of them. Regina McDermott too, she's tuned in the night as well from Ballaghaderreen, a fantastic singer as well and a songwriter now too, and it's just great. It's it's a fantastic hobby to have, and it's great to to meet people like that. And to be doing something positive and productive, and that's something that I hope to do for a very long time.
And it's funny you're saying they're tuning in tonight. You can actually watch us on the Highland Radio Facebook page, because we're streaming live as well as going out on air. We're streaming live. And Seamus, you were mentioning that song that Seamus wrote. I believe Vince Gill took a liking to it as well. Vince Gill couldn't believe it when he heard it here.
Yeah, Vince Gill was very, very happy with it. I don't think he has recorded it yet, but when somebody like Vince Gill is taking a song on board and saying that they're liking it and they're considering recording it, you know you're doing something good.
Yeah, and I must say, it was you actually that introduced me to Dan, and a couple of months ago he was over here and he was doing a tour with Seamus, and he was doing one with a lad from down the country too. Whose name is it again?
There was Noel Boland and Tomas Jackman.
Tomas Jackman as well.
Yeah.
And Dan gave me a few of his albums, and it was great. He wrote a great song, or did you write it? The one about it's kind of like a thing like the most. What is it? The
Irish women could rule the world. Yeah,
great song.
Yeah, that all came from being in the wee chat room. It was one Sunday after the radio show, and we were all taking a hand at each other. We were talking about Dan coming over to Ireland to do his tour. And I was saying, like, you have to beware of the Irish women, like we're a force to be reckoned with. And so I put the fear of God in him. And my head started spinning. I thought, there's a song in here somewhere. So I texted Dan. I says, Dan, I have an idea here. And I says, a bit cheeky. I said, but I have an idea. He says, run with it, Lynn. So I wrote down a few verses, a few lyrics came into my head. And we set up a video call, and I sent it to Dan. Dan worked away in it as well. And he says, what about the melody? And I says, well, I says, at the minute I don't hear one. I says, I hear it being more as a spoken thing. Kind of like Johnny Cash and A Boy Named Sue. That kind of style. And he says, right. He says, this is different. And I think we spent about an hour and a half on the phone one day on a Zoom call, writing it and finishing it, and Dan he says, right, start you singing it there now, or saying it, or whatever way you want to do it. And then he just started playing the guitar and came up with, the kind of the melody then as well, for the chorus. And it was such a fun song. Very, very cheeky song. Well, it's not very cheeky, it's a wee bit cheeky, but it was the most fun I've ever had writing a song. And it's called Irish Women Could Rule the World, and it is really, really good, I have to say.
Yeah, I must give it a spin later on. And also, we're going to play your current single now in a wee while, and Dan actually does a duet on it with you. But I believe you had a top guitar player on the song as well. Tell us about
Never in my wildest dreams would I have imagined that I would have had somebody like Chris Lusinger play guitar on a song that I had written. Again, that was thanks to Dan. When I told him about that, asked him about the song and the duet, and I said, "Would you sing it with me?" He says, "Yes, just right away, yes." And we talked about the instruments that that I wanted on it and stuff like that. And he says, "Well, I'll ask my friend Chris to play on it." I said, "That's great. That saves me finding a guitar player." He said, "Do you know Chris?" And I said, "No." Because I know nobody. I'm terrible with names.
You know me?
I know you, just about. He said, Lanny's Gareth Brooks' lead guitarist for the last 30 years. And I said, what? So I said, oh, absolutely, ask him. Now, I didn't think for a second that, the guy would say yes. But he was in Nashville. They were, doing the rehearsals for Gareth's tour last September. And he called into Dan's studio, and with the intention of playing one guitar. But Chris was saying to me, later that he had that much fun, he played three. So I got a wee bit of a shock then when I came back and I heard all the different guitars on it. And Terry McGinty from Balbuffet, actually my producer as well, he actually plays some guitars on it as well. But the song turned out amazing, better than what I could ever have expected. And I really am. I'm so honoured to have Chris and Dan play on it as well. It was massive for me.
And Lynn, you don't play guitar yourself, or you just write songs. But how do you get the melodies? You can. I know you can write down the words, but how do you get the melodies that's going to put it musically into the?
It just comes to me at the same time as the lyrics. I can never say that I've written a song and didn't have the melody to go with it. It comes at the same time. And it's not unusual for me to, go to bed at night and wake up in the morning and have a full song written and the melody in my head. I can't do one without the other. It comes to me at the same time. But I know everybody's different, but that's just the way it works for me.
Yeah, it's amazing, like yourself, who's an independent artist, not on a major label. And when I was talking to Dan too, him being an independent artist, his, like, the last album he gave me, like, there wasn't a bad song in it, and I hadn't heard of Dan before he came to Ireland.
Yeah.
But I know all his music now, and I know he has his own studio, and he's producing one or two people out in Nashville as well. But it's amazing. But do you know what's been great, especially since the pandemic, I suppose, like, you know, Facebooking and social networking, that all you music writers can get together and...
Oh, it has been. You know, COVID was and still is, in a lot of cases, horrible.
Yeah.
But if it wasn't for COVID, I wouldn't be where I am now. It was only during COVID that, you know, I thought, with all the horrible stuff was going on, I thought, you know, life is too short. Songwriting was something that I enjoyed, and I thought, you know, I'm just going to send my songs out to a couple of radio stations and see how I get on. So it was during COVID that I had sent it over to a friend of mine who had her own radio station in Scotland, and I hadn't even told her that I was a songwriter, and I knew her for like a year and a half. So she got the shock of her life when I sent her over the songs one Thursday night. And her name's Mary Kate, and she sent the songs on then to another station in Carlow, and Carlow sent it on to another station. And, you know, before I knew it, within a couple of months, you know, I was being played in radio stations all over the world. But if COVID hadn't have happened, I wouldn't have had the time to start, you know, to concentrate on music again. But it's, you know, I'm very, very thankful for what I've achieved, and you know how far I've come, you know, in the last 2 years. And now that, you know, my boys are growing up, I do have that wee bit of extra time, you know, to concentrate on my music and, you know, doing something that I love doing.
Well, come here, Lynn. Hang on there for a minute. We're going to take a quick ad break and we'll be back with more. How was that?
Over time, it's natural for your hearing not to be as clear as it once was. The good news is, advances in hearing aid technology may offer different solutions. Sabrina Robb here from Donegal Hearing Clinic. We provide peace of mind with hearing issues that affect people of all ages. Contact us for a consultation at Donegal Hearing Clinic on 07491 88470 or visit donegalhearingclinic.ie. Life sounds brilliant with Donegal Hearing Clinic, Letterkenny and Buncrana.
You may have heard others making claims, but there's only one number one, and it's official. Kia is once again Donegal's best-selling brand in 2023. Call in today to iMotors Letterkenny or Malin, or visit imotors.ie to find out why Kia is Donegal's best-selling brand.
Stay tuned for more of today's Best in Country with the country boy, Tommy Rosney.
And you're very welcome back to the show this Wednesday evening. My guest in the studio is none other than Lynn Campbell, singer-songwriter from Lifford. And Lynn, what about gigging?
Yeah, gigging. I'm starting to do wee things now. It's early stages for me, but Saturday next week, Saturday the 22nd, I am in Lifford Old Courthouse. The local Church of Ireland are having a fundraiser to help repair the roof. So there's going to be a bit of everything there next Saturday night. Dan O'Kane, the postman in Rafo, is going to be doing a comedy act. Then we have Leslie Matthews, who's very, very well known as well, and he will be doing a lot of gospel music. The Mood Swings are going to be singing there, and a young girl as well called Jessica McKean. So she's going to be playing as well. So there's going to be a wee bit of everything going on next Saturday night. So you can buy your tickets online at Lifford Old Courthouse, or you can ring up and buy them over the phone as well. So that's going to be a really good night. Really looking forward to that. Then on Thursday the 8th of June, in the Great Northern Hotel in Bundoran is the Celtic Country Music Awards. So I'm going to be singing at that there's going to be a lot of big names singing at that. So I am very, very honoured and excited that they've asked me to sing at that. And they actually contacted me today as well to say that I've been nominated for an award, which is amazing, and I'm very excited about it. So I'm nominated for the new and upcoming female artist. So I'm really looking forward to that night. That's going to be a lot of fun.
That'll be great. Come here. Who would have been influential on you? Who would you have looked up to as singer, or in what genre?
Biggest influence was my father. My father was a massive country fan, massive Johnny Cash fan, and you know, at the weekends, like we had a mobile in Portnew, and I've been going up there every weekend since I was a year old. So on a Friday and Saturday night, well, obviously when I was older, but we would have went up to Andy's pub, and there was always music there every weekend. And of course, my father was always called up for a song, but God rest him. But he never just went up for one; he stayed up for about 3 or 4. And he loved his country music. So he would have been my biggest influence. But I was a huge Gareth Brooks fan when I was younger. And a Celine Dion fan, so that's where I kind of got my love for country music, and for like easy listening songs as well that had nice melodies to it. So they would have been my 3 main ones, but my father definitely had a big influence. And then I do come from a very musical family on both sides. And there's so many people in my house that have worked, with big bands and stuff like that, and play their own instruments and stuff. But as far as I know, I think I'm the only songwriter. But they would be playing all the instruments, so I'm going to have to catch up with them maybe and learn something.
Maybe I'll take guitar lessons, which as well. I've been known to sing the odd song, but I couldn't play the guitar. And I took lessons one time and my fingers were bleeding on the string. Come here, I tell you, what genre would you put your music under? You have done a few nice kind of country type songs in a kind of Americana or folky.
I call it country and easy listening.
Yeah.
When I'm writing a song, I do not know what I'm writing until it's finished. It just comes to me, and I don't know what genre it's going to fit into until it's finished. So there's like kind of the one that you're just after playing there, Will You Be That Man? That was kind of leaning towards the traditional Irish country. Then my new song is definitely American country. I have another few American country ones too that'll be coming out, and then I have easy listening ones. And I also I have like a few kind of, you would probably call them pop songs and a rock song. So I write what comes into my head, but it mostly turns out to be country.
And do you record them mainly over with Terry and Ballybuffet most of the times?
Absolutely. Terry McGinty in Valley Music Studios just outside Ballybuffet. He is incredible, and he's a brilliant musician as well as a producer, and he plays on all my songs now as well. And he's taught me a lot, and I'm constantly learning because I really am still new to this game. But I can hear things now, I can see things better, I can listen to stuff better. I understand more about music, although I still have a lot to learn. And he really gets me involved in the whole production side now too. But, he's great from the first day that I went into the studio, making me feel at ease, because I was so nervous going in and so nervous singing, and but it's just brilliant. And he'll tell you himself if you're ever talking to him, I call it my happy place. Whatever's going on, as soon as I get into his studio and go into the wee room, and I just smile, and I just can't stop smiling. It is just my happy place, and I love it. But I'm very, very grateful to him. He's been a great help to me, and I'd be lost without him.
Well, we're going to play Romance is Dead in a minute, but I believe you have another song that's nearly finished. Tell us about that one before we talk about Romance is Dead. Terry actually sent it to me 2 days ago. It's called Stupid and Crazy, and it's more leaning towards the Irish country style again. I'm just waiting now to get an accordion put into it, so I have to get an accordion player, but I'm sure Terry will find one for me. This one it's the first time that I've written a song where the melody wasn't really my own. It was from what do you call him down the country? Walsh. His first name will come to me in a second. Louis Walsh, is it?
No, definitely not Louis Walsh.
That's the only Walsh I know.
But no, it's a friend of mine, but I'm terrible with names at the minute. So he had a song out called I Heard It Rained, and the melody was beautiful. And one night I was actually on my way to Letterkenny, and I had his song on in the car and had lyrics running through my head, but of course my lyrics got tied with his melody. So I rang him up and I says, hey look, I've written this song, but I want to use your melody. I said, can I do this and we'll put it down as a co-write? And he says, absolutely. He says, go for it, Shirley, work away. So the melody is his and the lyrics are mine, so it's another wee co-write, but I'm very excited about it too. So it'll probably not be out for a couple of months until I get it finished. But I do like this one, I have to say. Eamon Patrick Walsh. There we go.
Oh, yes, I heard of him. And now, before I let you go and we play Romance is Dead, how did you come on but that? I hope your romance isn't dead. Maybe Dan Washburn's is, but maybe yours isn't.
No, that's all part of the storyline for that album I was telling you about. When I wrote the first album, and because I had never done songwriting before, and I wasn't sure really what I was doing, but by the time I had written that album, I had it written in such a way that every song was a chapter to the story, but every song was a story in itself. And I was a huge CSI fan, so that's probably where it came from. So the album itself, it's a love story turned sour. So that's Romance is Dead. It's either track 2 or track 3 now on the album that hopefully will be out later on this year. And this is just the start of where the love is kind of moving away and the arguments are starting before they split up and stuff like that.
Well, come here, Lynn, before we play it, if anybody is looking for your music, is it on CD or is it all stream?
It's on everywhere that you would normally find it. I have singles. If people want a copy of one of the singles, they just send me a message on Facebook or email me. It's on Spotify, it's on iTunes, it's on all the main streaming platforms. But I just get in contact with me, or they can email me as well at lyncrawfordcampbell@hotmail.com. But I'm there if anybody wants to contact me. It's easy enough to find me.
Well, come here, Lynn. It's been great having you up in the studio. We're going to play Romance is Dead.
3 in the morning in your stinking